Let me take you back to the 90s. The PlayStation was the bomb. And I was a kid having a blast with Gran Turismo, Monster Rancher, and Armored Core. All of a sudden a friend of mine went like, "Hey, have you played Final Fantasy VII yet?" And I was like, "No." I come over to a neighbor's house and see him playing this game where this guy with a weird sword stood still in front of a monster and would occasionally step in to get a slice, but then step back again. What's that game? You haven't heard of Final Fantasy VIII? And I was like, no. And then I got to high school. All I had was a Game Boy Advance, and two of my buddies with their PS2s were like, "Dude, they made you a pop star in Final Fantasy X2. Senior year, my friends were going, "Damn son, Advent Children was so cool, I'm gonna cosplay as Cloud." I asked what Advent Children was, and it's apparently a Final Fantasy movie. Okay. My first year in college, someone had a PSP. "What games you got?" "Final Fantasy Crisis Core." You got anything else?" "Well, I got Dissidia." These characters look familiar. Of course, dumbass, it's a Final Fantasy fighting game. Final Fantasy was everywhere, but while everyone was busy with FF7, I experienced my first JRPG in the form of Legend of Legaia. And even now, I never really got into Final Fantasy. But not for the lack of trying. I played Legend of Dragoon on the PS1, another JRPG from Squaresoft before they became Square Enix. The gameplay was alright, but the world and story weren't very compelling to me. I intently watched my neighbor play FF8 in front of my face. I had zero interest. I also played FF7, but only briefly. I got to the part where Cloud's party just escaped some sewer system from being tricked by a fat guy in a brothel of some sort. I wasn't really compelled to continue. I played and finished Final Fantasy Tactics, Advance. Both of them, but more so for its gameplay than anything else really. And finally, around 2017, when FF9 was released on PC, I tried that. I got to Dark City Treno, and I liked the music. Then I realized I wasn't really engaged, so I ended up dropping that too. My disinterest kinda made sense though, because I wasn't really a fanatic for JRPGs. My favorite games on the PS1 were Armored Core and Monster Rancher 2. And on the Nintendo side, I had Advance Wars, Pokemon, and Monster Rancher Advance 2. For some reason, Monster Rancher keeps popping into my life. Anyway, around 2009, I got myself a DS. I saw rave reviews of a game that looked kinda sick and very anime. Shin Megami Tensei, Devil Survivor. So I got the game and started it up. I can't for the life of me explain why, but I think I'm gonna like this game. We start with our main character in Shibuya. Here we meet up with a friend named Atsuro. Another friend, named Yuzu, arrives with a special delivery for everyone. A bunch of Nintendo DS's. Or comps, as they're called in-game. It contains something called the Laplace mail with today's news. It says at 4 PM today, someone will be mauled by a beast at an Aoyama apartment. Then the group realizes it's only 3:30. It's telling the future! Dude, it's news. What's wrong with you? My cousin, Naoya, lives there, so Yuza and I go to Aoyama to check up on him. Looks like the email came true though. A man was eaten by some sort of animal. But Naoya's fine. So he blabs about something that's about to begin and then leaves without explaining anything. Okay, clearly a villain. Atsuro, the nerd that he is, hacks his way through our locks in our DS's. Then something called the Demon Summoning Program boots up. Before we know it, there's a fairy, a wolf with a club, and a cat with a straw hat trying to kill us. But hey, there's an app in our DS that allowed us to fight evenly with them, and so we kick their butt. But then they join us, as part of a contract they say. Then weird numbers pop out of everyone's heads. Naoya then emails us to meet someone at a nearby cemetery. When we arrive, we see a big ice demon punch some guy. And he's dead. Then some dainty priestess arrives and runs the demon off. And it turns out that the ice demon is actually Wendigo, aka the Yeti. Whoa. It was getting late though, and then the power goes out too. So we spend the night in the cemetery. But upon waking, we got a lot of problems. 1. We got another Laplace mail predicting a blizzard and that 3 victims would be killed by a snowman. How does that work? 2. We can't go home because the government has locked down everything within the Yamanote circle. FYI, that's a real train line in Tokyo, Japan. 3. Remember those numbers above everyone's heads? That's the death clock, and it shows the number of days a person is yet to live. So does 0 mean... This is bad. And finally, we can buy demons from auctions! This is day 1 of Devil Survivor. Our days are literally numbered. There's no way home and demons are roaming the streets killing humans. But we can ally with them to survive. And I am hooked, man. I love the contemporary setting. It's a breath of fresh air from the usual RPGs, with their fictional worlds and villages and castles and killing made-up monsters with human party members. The demons in this game are based on real-life mythos, like pixies, Jack Frost, Wendigo, and even friggin' Thor. I think this blend of modern-day tension, technology, and the occult combined with anime and suspense is brilliant. And yeah, we're just getting started. We decide to find a way out, and soon enough we end up in Chiyoda. Seems kinda chilly all of a sudden. And then the Wendigo pops up and... oh crap. Chiyoda? Check. Blizzard? Check. Snowman? Check. And 3 victims? Check. Wait, go down without a fight though? So Wendigo is quite fearsome. He's level 17 and we're only around level 7. And since damage and whatnot in this game are not only based on stats, but also levels, Wendigo can literally take someone out with just 1 punch. Like the day before, yeah, no bueno. This is a strategy game though, so with fire magic and our Pixie's continued support, Wendigo goes down and our death clock readouts changes to 2. From here on, we knew we could change our fate, aka Devil Survivors, get it? Wait, what? Only 2 days? But everyone else has 6. Wait a minute, everyone only has 6, except the soldiers outside the lockdown for some reason. Let's move on. Now we're introduced to the Demon Fusion program. You fuse demons to make stronger demons. Well, they call it fusion, but it's more like offering up 2 demons to summon a stronger one. I think it's only in Megami Tensei you can sacrifice the Hindu goddess Lakshmi and Hell's Gatekeeper Cerberus to call forth Wukong the Monkey King. We also meet various key characters. Kaido is the head of a local gang of thugs. Midori is some cringe-inducing cosplayer. There's Mari, a school nurse and Atsura's former tutor. Keisuke, Atsura's friend and defender of the weak. We have Amane, the dainty priestess that helped us in the cemetery. And Haru, a very depressed indie rock singer who I swear is always one gust of wind away from indecency. She also seems to be having constant demon problems, so we had to kick some demon butt to bump her death clock up from 0 to 2. And I'd say that's a good day's work. Day 2 brings about new revelations. Seems DSs are spreading, which means more demons are being summoned, and now thugs are abusing them too. You also find out that the lockdown is to keep demons from getting out, and that includes everyone that can summon them. And trying to get out will get you shot, as we almost found out the hard way. Keisuke was supposed to die today from trying to save Midori, but we saved both of them by the end of the day. Day 3 is an eventful one. First, Midori declares herself a warrior of love, devoted to saving humans from demons, which apparently means she'll die the next day. Keisuke joins us to save her again, cause, well, you know how it is. Haru gets more demon problems, so we had to rescue her again. But today's really about one thing in particular. Belder, an immortal demon that according to the Laplace mail will appear at 6 PM today. And maybe that's how we'll die? Cause you know, 0 death clock and all. So now we have to get ready for, oh god, it's him, he's early. But he can't be that immortal, right? Yup, so we had to bail. While discussing what to do, we meet this... gigolo? He explains that back in the ancient times, every single living thing on Earth vowed not to harm Belder, with one exception, something called the Devil's Fuge. And so we go searching, and after kicking the butts of some old fogies with DSs, we find out that this Devil's Fuge is just a mistletoe cell phone strap. Are we sure about this? But our doubts were quickly dispelled when I smacked Belder with his trap. Turns out he wasn't much of a boss, really. And with that, the long day is over and we have 3 extra days to live. By day 4, I was getting confident with my demon tamer skills. Immortal demons, watch out! This is also around the time I discovered Drain, and it is broken. Mainly because it saps both HP and MP. And it's so strong that even if it doesn't kill, the enemy's still crippled from using any magic. And it also has an element that can't be resisted by normal means. Anyway, the Laplace mail today said Midori will be murdered by humans. And the notion of murdering your protector? Yeah, that was too much for Keisuke. He snaps. He leaves the party. On top of that, it's chaos inside the lockdown. People are starting to fight over food. There's mass looting, police aren't keeping the peace, demon tamers are trying to kill each other. And when Kaido lost to us, he was all, I need more power, and all that stuff. But he ended up summoning a powerful demon to his side, Pazuzu, a Mesopotamian god of demons. And it happened to Keisuke too. He got Yama, judge of the underworld. So now people can summon demons with just really strong thoughts. We did save Midori though, by babysitting her at all times. Also, Miss Mari sends us on an errand to find her missing bag. And that's the 4th day. But mistakes were made. On the 5th day of hell, both Mari and Keisuke are on the chopping block. Keisuke has Yama, so he's fine for now. In the meantime, Miss Mari's being chased by a vampire. We rush over to assist, and this is where the game starts cheating. Boss characters are now getting the Beast Eye ability, and it lets them attack twice as much. Now normally, we can copy demon abilities onto humans with the game's skill crack feature. But yeah, not this one. Still, with the help of a vampire hunter possessing Mari, we turn the undead bloodsucker into dust. So Mari's safe now. Let's go save Case. Oh, I didn't think they actually... Damn it! Only through replaying the game did I find out that you're not supposed to give Mari's bag back to her. See, Kaido has a little crush on Miss Mari, so giving the bag to him would have distracted him long enough to save Keisuke. I'm just... Did Final Fantasy have this? Could you save Aerith from turning into shish kebab courtesy of Sephiroth? To my knowledge, no. I guess that's what you get for doing the sensible thing. There goes a character. Day 6, our death clock is at 0 again. The apocalypse is tomorrow, everyone's acting like the world's ending, the sky's turning red, and the plot begins to unfold quickly. Turns out angels were the ones that ordered the lockdown because a cultist group called the Shomunkai created the means to summon demons. And upon slaying Belder, I became part of the War of Bel, where demons with Bel in their name fight for supremacy and rule over all demons. I thought it was interesting because the first time I played this, I gave my main character a super cool and edgelordy name. Karst Ubel. Yeah, no kidding. If this wasn't a sign that this game was made for me, I don't know what is. We now have a plan. Infiltrate the Shomunkai to get to their servers, and then gain control of the demon summoning program. Also, we broke the Laplace mill because we keep proving it wrong. One final news though. A demon named Belial will appear to murder us all. Big deal, I'm untouchable with Drain, I can just... Okay, the game's not kidding around anymore. Unlike all other fights prior to this, and I do mean all other fights, Belial is an absolute unit. Goddamn, what a cool design too. So he recovers 10% HP after every fight with the passive skill Life Aid. Now if I use that skill, I recover around 30 HP. But Belial heals 285, and dealing that much damage isn't always easy, especially if he kills any of my demons. And when making this game, I imagine Atlus had a meeting which went like, "Sir, Beast Eye gives 2 turns to bosses. Good, now let's add another boss skill that gives 3 turns. Wouldn't that be unfair?" I know, it's brilliant! And so we got Dragon Eye. Oh, how I wish we could copy that skill. Needless to say, he burnt my ass a few times. A change in strategy was due. Tactic 1. By using certain demons, there's a way to attack from 2 or 3 cells away. If I do this, he won't be able to counterattack. And his recovery won't kick in too. Tactic 2. Ice attacks from a distance. Ice attacks on his face. Ice attacks buffed by Odin. More ice attacks. Come on, just die already! Okay, that was tough. But by golly was it a lot of fun. The second bell is down. Oh yeah, Haru was there too, so we saved it again, whatever. But if only I knew Belial was just a warm-up. Fire joke, get it? The final day at last. I was given a few story routes before ending day 6, and since I wanted a good ending, I decided to be a messiah for Amane. How do we do that? By winning the War of Bel to bend the demons to God's will. Plus Miss Mari joins us. I can't remember why, maybe she was lonely. The final day is a boss gauntlet. 3 more bells, and I was kinda hoping they won't be as bad as Belial. The game's about to smack me in the face. We, go into Amane's soul to confront our 3rd bell, and it's this freaky little flower called Jezebel. And she can attack from 3 squares away. So great, my long-range demons are useless now. More problems, the floor is lava. And the boss's holy dance is instant murder to Odin and Brigid. And of course, attacking 3 times with Dragon Eye. My god, have some mercy. Also, she summons evil Amanes to distract me with their powerful attacks, and that thing. Eventually, my attacks took their toll. Jezebel fades from Amane's soul, and now 2 bells remain. But before we proceed, Amane informs us that the server is in the demon world, and we can't get to it unless we literally open the portal. So now we have to kill 3 Buddhist guardian gods. And the first and strongest is Bishamon. And I, being unprepared, got murdered again. Bishamon has Hasohapa, a physical attack that gets way stronger if you have more HP. If I use this, I do around 200 damage. That's with 400 HP. These late game bosses though, well, see for yourself. Their HP is so high, the UI doesn't have enough space to display it. It's gonna be bad if he goes after Yuzu. All physical skills cost a portion of your health to cast, and this one costs 15%. And again, Atlus went like, yup, totally fair, so let's exempt the bosses from this cost. But oh man, this demon saves the day. Rangda reflects all physical attacks, so Bishamon pretty much punched himself to death. The remaining two guardians tried to flank us, but they were weak to drain. Okay, that fight was simple. Maybe from now on the game will ease up a bit. Of course not. The fourth Bel is Beelzebul, who's actually Beelzebub, Lord of the Flies, but Bel is not quite Bel, I guess. So get this, Belial could attack from 1 square away, and Jezebel from 3, Beelzebub from 6. And from his position, that's almost the entire map. And that's not the worst part. He also lays eggs on us, and if we don't cure it, they explode, the host dies, and now we have maggots to fight. And these maggots are from hell, they are tough as nails and lay more eggs. In my first few tries, I just got swarmed. I couldn't even touch the boss. But then, I'm starting to figure out that there are tricks to some bosses that make them trivial. And for this one, just cure the eggs before they hatch. Without his maggots, Beelzebub was actually pretty easy. 4 bells down, 1 to go. And the last one is the Shomonkai's own thing of worship. An assortment of, oh my god, he has a cat. Belberit is a literal demon god. No matter where I go on the map, he can send forth pain with his infinite range. And he has the skill. The description reads, battle and HP MP up. What is this, like life aid? Holy damn, that recovery is huge! Wait, hold on. Oh my flippin' lord, I can crack it! It is on now! But first a special mention. This guy. He has the skill Rage Soul, which I also want to copy. Seems it locks him into regular attacks only, but they also get stronger. But by how much? Maybe just a grunt, but you're a big butthole. I'll remember you. I exploit Belberit's wind weakness, and with Wukong's power and healing from Norn, now I'm the boss. Now he appears and shows his true colors. He reveals that I'm actually a reincarnation of Abel, and he's my brother Cain, humanity's first murderer. I test out Victory Cry and... So this is what it feels like to be a boss. My final preparation. I fuse Rangda with a mop to summon the Hindu god Shiva. Amane cast us to the gateway to the demon world, and it's time for the final battle. Now, I don't remember the final battle because of the fight itself, but because of the lore. It's so clever and ingenious, that's why this game is so memorable. The Shomonkai wants the human race to reach the heavens and surpass God. To this end, they built a demon summoning program, all to make Belberit more powerful, and thus win the War of Bel. The demon summoning program uses powerful thoughts to summon demons. We saw samples of this from Kaido and Keisuke. Those thoughts come from the internet, where all languages converge and one's reach is worldwide. So we arrive at the other world and find the server, and it's none other than the Tower of Babel. If you look at the lockdown as God's attempt to put humans in their place once again, it's the Babylonian tale perfectly integrated into our world. Babel's first form is of a female head with a bowl haircut. You beat it down and it reveals its true form. Basically, it opens itself to reveal its garish circuitry, but it also puts forth a final boss rush involving all the bells we've previously conquered. Step back, team. I got this. Victory Cry is so strong I soloed every single one of them while everyone else waited. And finally, Babel is open for attack. With a nearly unstoppable team composition of auto-revives, unblockable almighty attacks, Drain to refuel magic, the healing of Norn, Shiva's magic buff, Yuzu and Mari for additional support, Atsuro to exploit openings for physical strikes, and of course, Victory Cry. Babel, the final boss, folds. The throne of Bel is mine, and with it, absolute rule over demons. As Messiah, I pacify them, and the age of God's order begins. So ends my first Devil Survivor playthrough, and my first Shin Megami Tensei experience. I play more Megaten titles, from Shin Megami Tensei 4 to Devil Survivor 2, from Persona 3 to Strange Journey. And to think, the first Megaten game actually came before the first Final Fantasy. I've never heard of the series before Devil Survivor, but I'm glad I did. This series is my Final Fantasy. Although the lockdown is over and our heroes have no more need of their DSs, I still had my own demons. I kept my DS. New Game Plus awaits me.